Discover the wartime experiences of St. Catharines residents on the front lines and at home as part of a new exhibit at the St. Catharines Museum.
This exhibit is called Doing Our Bit, World War I from St. Catharines to the Western Front, and it tells the history of the First World War from the perspective of St. Catharines residents. It was a really great exhibit to put together for that reason. We put a call out to the community asking if they could share some of their family's history and family story related to World War I, and we used objects from our collection that had a story related to St. Catharines in World War I, and to kind of piece together things from the war that most people know about, like Vimy Ridge, for example, and took a St. Catharines perspective from that. There were a number of St. Catharines residents who fought at Vimy Ridge, who wrote about their experience at Vimy Ridge, and we were able to put it into their words. And so that's what we've tried to do through the whole exhibit, is to take the words of people from here and tie them into something we already know about the First World War.
This year marks 100 years since the start of the First World War.
They'll be able to see artifacts that are from the First World War, and most of the artifacts on display directly relate to a specific person. And so that person's alive in this exhibit, so there's a photo and a little bit about their history and a little of their story. And really, they'll also kind of get a really good grounding in the basics of the First World War, what happened. And then on top of that, we have our cross-section, back behind me, cross-section of our trench. We've got two different trench cross-sections, so you get a bit of an immersive experience as well when you come to the exhibit.
The new exhibit tells the story of the First World War from a local perspective.
This has been a major undertaking. We've been working on this exhibit for more than a year, and really what goes into it is it starts out with the research and all of the work that goes behind that, because no one could possibly know everything about history, so we have to read about it first, and then from that goes design, refining, finding artifacts that relate, connecting to the community. It's just a really major undertaking, and everyone's been on the staff here have been pretty much all hands on deck for almost the whole year at different parts of the exhibit, and pretty much all the staff have touched a piece of this exhibit in some way.
Doing Our Bit, World War I from St. Catharines to the Western Front, will be on display at the St. Catharines Museum until November 20th, 2018. In Niagara, you're watching The Source.